Guys, welcome to this video on exam technique. This video we're going to talk about what I think some good tips are for the day of the exam. Let's get started. So on the day of the exam, I reckon there's 4 things you should think about. There may be more than this, and that's fine. If you can think of anything else, please put them in the comments below. But for now, let's say there's 4 things that I think you should really focus on. That would be care, equipment, comfort, and time. So what do I mean by these things? So, well, first of all, in terms of care, I think it's really important the day of the exam or in the lead up to the day of the exam that you've got yourself a good night's sleep and that you're well hydrated and you've had some breakfast. Now, obviously, it depends on when during the day your exam is. If you've got an exam in the afternoon, you might want to have lunch as well, but make sure that you've taken good care of yourself. Make sure you're in as good a shape as you can possibly be for the exam. Don't stay up till 2 in the morning cramming. It probably isn't going to make much difference anyway at that point. So you're better off getting a good night's sleep so you're refreshed and ready for the exam the following day. Make sure you're hydrated. You know, dehydration and performance are very closely linked. If you're dehydrated, your performance drops. That's true for, you know, sporting tasks. It's also true for cognitive function as well. So make sure you're nicely hydrated. I would just say a word of caution on that. If you consume absolutely stacks of water before you go into the exam hall, you might not want to do that because you're going to need to visit the restroom or the toilet. Okay, so try and avoid that if you can, but do make sure that you're at least well hydrated and you've had something to eat. You don't want your stomach to be churning while you're trying to think. Secondly, in terms of equipment, check the equipment that you're going to need. So this will be dependent on the exam that you're taking and whether or not you need to take some specialist equipment with you or whether it's just a pen. Well, if you just need to take a pen, then take 2 or 3 or 4. Make sure you've got some spares. Basically, if your pen runs out, you don't want to be in a situation where you've got to put your hand up and wait for somebody to come to you and give you a spare pen and so on. So take some spares of each item. Then in terms of comfort, be comfortable in the clothes that you're wearing. So wear clothes that are comfortable. It's not a fashion parade. You don't have to go there looking your very best. No one's going to be looking at you anyway. Everybody's going to be looking at their exam papers. So wear clothes that are comfortable. Wear clothes that you can sit comfortably in for however long the exam's going to take. And on that note, think about wearing some layers because you don't know where exactly or what the temperature of the exam hall is going to be like. Indeed, you may not be taking it in an exam hall. You may be in a separate room somewhere else. So if you're unless you're absolutely certain you can control the atmosphere and the environment that you're in, it's a good idea to wear some layers so that you can take layers off or put layers on should the temperature change. You don't want to be freezing cold or boiling hot and have no option to change or take a layer off or put a layer on. Okay, so in terms of comfort, think about the clothes that you're wearing in advance. And then finally, in terms of time, make sure you get there. Make sure you get there on time. So set a couple of alarms if you have to. If you're a heavy sleeper like I am, have 2 alarms. Put one on the other side of the room so you actually physically have to get out of bed to turn it off. And think about making sure that you arrive nice and early. Give yourself a little bit of time to get there nice and early so that if you get stuck in traffic or you get held up for whatever reason, that you're not going to end up being late or even just cutting it really fine, because cutting it fine is a stressful experience anyway. So try and get yourself up nice and early, get yourself ready to go nice and early, leave the house nice and early, get there early, give yourself a fighting chance of controlling those nerves when it comes to actually getting into the exam hall. So those are my sort of top 4 tips for the day of the exam. Take good care of yourself in terms of hydration, nutrition and sleep. Make sure you've got the equipment you need and take some spares. Be comfortable, wear comfortable clothes, take some layers so you can get warmer or get cooler if need be. And then make sure you give yourself plenty of time to play with to make sure you're nice and early and you can de-stress before the exam starts. Well, I hope some of those things have been helpful for you. If you've got any other tips for the day of the exam, I'd love to hear them. Put them in the comments. That'd be great. And I'll get back to you. Other than that, thanks for watching. Take care. See you in the next video.